Hi everybody, how's it going? We have a very special video today. We're doing a collaboration and we're talking about the
Yes,
dark night of the soul. I am Cindy from Mage's Moon and you are
I am Rogelio Diaz from Knowledge to Live By.
awesome. So yeah, so I'll start. Dark Night of the Soul is something I think a lot of people, have questions about. It may have gone through. If you already are familiar with the term, I think is you're already in the spiritual community. So it'll be nice to
Right.
give people some tips on how to navigate that if you find yourself that you are experiencing a dark night of the soul or about to enter one, or maybe just coming out of one even, and maybe you've stumbled upon the term. For myself, I've had various dark nights of the soul in my lifetime. I believe I actually was awakened when I was very, very young, before I was even
Wow.
conscious of it, and I became very psychic. But
Wow.
see, I don't really remember that one, so I'm not going to talk about it. But later on in my life, when I was a teenager, I met this boy who
Mhm.
had this huge impact on me, and then we broke up, and I didn't realize it what was going on because he was actually my first boyfriend. So and I thought it
Gotcha.
was just, yeah, I thought it was just like first love thing, and I had a hard
Hmm.
time getting over it, and I was like, this is normal, but it
Yeah, that's hurt.
wasn't. Turned out it was much more involved than that, and there was a soul catalyst thing, and I ended up
Hmm.
being severely depressed for that whole year.
I'll
And
destroy you.
then, oh yeah, and then,
Oh, no.
but then all my psychic abilities also like started to open, and I was just having like this weird,
Wow.
wild time. I was like, what is happening? Right? And I was so like
Uh,
depressed, but I was also, getting to be clairaudient and clairvoyant, and I was like getting
that's
these
yeah, usually what
like,
happens.
you think you need to like check yourself into a mental hospital. Like you're like, this is not normal, and I couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
if you found that,
Yeah.
but
Yes, and usually it's yeah.
yeah. So I found that if I talked to anybody about this that wasn't spiritual or religious or something like that, they would think I was insane. So I ended up just talking about it with a friend of mine that was big into religion, but it was very,
Hmm.
very Christian, very Catholic. So there was only a limit to to what I could
Right.
share with her until she was like, okay, what? This
uh,
is the devil's work. So
that's usually how it comes off. I completely understand.
yeah, so that was kind of my first like major dark night that I remember, and that continued on actually for some years with this person because we went back and forth quite a lot. And then my latest one is the one I have the most, and of course, like that dark night, I did not handle well. I did all the things that you should not do. So,
Hmm.
like going
Like
to
for instance.
for instance, like partying a lot, drinking a lot, like just hooking up with random people, like that kind of stuff. Like just really not handling it whatsoever because I didn't know what was
Right.
going
Yeah.
on. I didn't know, how to deal in a healthy way. So I did a lot of the unhealthy things. Well, not as bad as some people. I didn't become a druggie or anything like that, which would have just made it worse.
Hmm.
Right. But still, it
Oh
was
yeah,
it was a
that's. I
tough
mean,
time.
it's a lot of pain to endure when you go through that type of stuff, Cindy. And I'm sure a lot of people,
Absolutely.
they can 100% relate. It's so much to take at one time when you have all these situations coming at you, and you want to escape, you want out. You don't want to feel the emotion or battle yourself. It's real, man.
Exactly. And I find the Dark Knight, I don't know about you, but a Dark Knight for me it happened through a catalyst, through a very quick instant awakening of some sort. I mean, that's
Yes,
what triggers it, is that you become
yes,
extremely aware all of a sudden, and it's too much, and you just don't know exactly how to navigate it. So I'm just going to stop talking about my experience, then let's just talk about yours, and then we can go into
so
advice.
I have something really similar actually. It's I mean, like I said, we've all experienced several. I feel like several dark nights of the soul, right? Where you go through something very traumatizing, dramatic, and you come out, even though it's so painful at the time. You still come out of it. You still you learn so much from it, and I feel like I've had that in several instances, but the most recent was actually 2 months ago,
Oh,
where yeah, pretty recent, right? Um, where I was a personal trainer, independent contractor, and I was trying to build my business with a partner, and it didn't go too well. So I spent my whole year, the whole year of 2019, building the business at the studio, right, working pretty much seven days a week.
wow.
I'd have like 1 day off every month, not even exaggerating. So you pour your heart and soul into something, and then within an instant, it vanishes. I had to leave. You get, as you know, you get to a point where something's not serving you, and you just have to go. Like, I wasn't happy. I hit rock bottom, guys. I hit rock bottom, and my health was messed up, and I'm to this day. A lot of people don't know that, Cindy. I'm still fighting my health, like clouded judgment. I wake up tired every day,
Mhm.
and what that 2 month that it took me about 3 weeks within those 2 months, to really start getting back, start again fighting for my happiness. I say that a lot. Like I like I like to say that, like, yo, I this life really is a fight. when when it comes down to it, and you're alone and you're going through this dark night, all you have is yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you feel so alone, right, Cindy? Like,
Yes.
and that was probably one of the most transformational moments. And again, I've had a couple dark night of the soul. I used to be an alcoholic. I've gotten past that. Like you said, like the drinking, the partying, it was so easy to go out with your friends and just forget about everything, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's honestly, if I think people can really learn from that. That I gave myself time to heal. I surrendered. Like the worst thing you can do, as you know, Cindy, the worst thing you can do is try to fight the emotions,
Hmm.
like just feel them. See, I started fighting once I already went through that phase. Like I surrendered. I allowed myself to feel the all those negative emotions, the anxiety, the fear. Where's my life going? You put your whole life into something. This is my dream. Being a trainer, being an owner. I was working my way to be an owner. That was my purpose. That was like, yo, this is everything. So
Hmm.
what do you do when you lose everything? Like it's just those dark moments really do transform you, man.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really hard because I don't know about you, but going through the emotion is exactly what scares people and what gets people to deal, to find coping mechanisms,
Right.
because that
Yes.
emotion is so intense. I know for me, um, I really wanted, like, I thought I wanted to not die. I wasn't suicidal ever, but I did have that feeling of this pain is so intense. I don't know if I can survive it if I dive into it. And your ego gets into it
It's
because
normal.
it's in survival mode. It's trying to protect you. So then it's finding reasons to, excuse why you're feeling that way. It's like, oh, it's just like making up all these reasons why it doesn't make sense to feel that way, and trying to get you to move to a place where you can forget about it or move on or do
Yeah.
something else, or take your attention away
Right.
from the dark night into something that makes you feel better. But it's really temporary and it doesn't last. And then the more you do that, the longer the dark night.
Exactly. Right. The irony. The irony.
Oh, it just extends. It keeps going if you ignore it is the problem. And then you go deeper into it sometimes even.
Oh
And then
yeah.
some people get really deep into it. And it's just like, honestly becomes a fight for life and death sometimes. It can be a very traumatic, deep thing. But also the deeper you go, the more you learn as well. So like
Exactly.
you said, I like that you said that you need to let yourself feel it, because
Have
it's
to.
when you don't resist, when you just let it wash over you, when you go deep into your heart and you go into that pain, it actually is a lot easier to do it that way than resist it, because the resistance will make you feel good temporarily, but then
Hmm.
once the dark night comes back, it just hits you even harder. And it's just like, it's like, sit down, it's like, you need to just go into this,
I
like,
know.
stop resisting me. It's really, it's a lot to take, right?
I think it's that feeling that you lost control of your life. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you're trying so hard to grasp that control back, that you don't even realize that it's damaging you more by trying to do that than just analyzing and going through the situation rather than trying to fight it. You know,
Yes,
you can fight once you already stop fighting beforehand. You stop fighting your emotions, then you can start fighting back and pick yourself up.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
just
I like that.
thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So what are how so you've had a few different dark nights. Would you say that the last one, were you more aware of what was going on at that point, or were you able to kind of navigate it better than the other ones?
very. Oh yeah, very much so. Because again, just like anything, you go through it, and there's always a lesson behind everything you go through, right?
Yeah.
So it was way more as it was probably still one of the most painful things I've gone through, but I was able to manage it because not only because of my experiences, but what I knew. I had tools in my mind to help me fight, you know, right? To help me combat the negative emotions, the negative thoughts, the doubt. And it's like, okay, every time I've gone through something, I always came out, I always broke through, and something greater came into my life. So I was able to, this time around, I was able to just be, right, surrender, and I understood, like, deep down, like, I'm like, I know this is happening for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped, I just stopped doubting. Like, I really did. Like, I couldn't, I just knew there was something more coming. And look, and now here we are 2 months later, and I'm going deep and hard into trying to be an influencer again. And this was my first original dream. Funny how life has a way of to pulling you back to your what's really meant for you, you know?
To where you
But
need to be. Yeah.
exactly,
It will
exactly.
try to do that. I mean, you don't, it's funny because we always have choices. We have free will. So we don't always have to choose what the universe throws at us, or is trying to get you
That's right.
into a certain direction. Because I know I've often not done what I was supposed to. I've, and this is what prolonged my dark nights sometimes, is because I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Whatever
Tell
you
me,
want me to do, I'm not doing it.
right?
It's so funny. Like my soul contract, I had, like, I found this out eventually that I had these soul contracts, and I was like, I don't want to do it.
I don't.
And it just led me into this deep dark road, and it was like, and now I think back, I'm like, why didn't you just do it? It would have been so much easier. Right,
Right?
just fulfill it, it's not a
It
big
has to
deal.
be the human
Yeah,
inside
exactly.
you.
And I was like, no. And then the universe was like, all right, fine, this is what you choose, okay, but you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And
It's true. It's really true.
yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, so answering that question myself as well. So my last
Yes.
dark night was actually about, almost, it's been a good year now, a year and a half maybe. But 2018, that boy I was talking to about actually passed away then. And it
Sorry to
was
hear that.
my, yeah, and it was like, it was really like my last, like I didn't, and it's funny because the whole year before that, so it was 2 years ago, maybe a bit longer than that, I was already awakening. I had my
Hmm.
last awakening. And this time it was, I had a lot of things going for me. I was in a good place. I happened to be working with someone that is, I believe, a light worker. And she doesn't call herself that, though she has no notion of, but she's
Nice.
an
Let's
energy
find out.
healer. Yeah,
Uh,
and she actually was working with me already, and she was opening my heart chakra, and we were doing already, I was already doing a
Amazing.
lot of awakening work. And then I found a my Victor Odo, who is turned out to be
Yes,
my
Vic.
spiritual coach for months. And through that, and through that connection, and through like following, his course and all that, and just having this like great relationship with everybody in the group, I was actually like going through a lot of growth prior to
Phenomenal.
that. And then
Uh-huh.
this person walked back, well, not walked back, but we started talking again, and then just like that, he was, in my mind, he was gone. So that propelled me into another very deep depression or deep dark night. I didn't know. It was funny because I posted in Victor's group, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this, you guys, but I do know this, is if it wasn't for that group, if it wasn't for already been doing my work in the awakening, I would have been way worse off. Like if I had, it was actually
Yeah.
prepared, which was funny because, my whole life felt like I was actually being prepared for the worst of the worst, which to me, that's what it was. So, and the way I
Cindy,
was
that's yeah.
able, yeah, to move through it was I continued my work with my spiritual with my spiritual growth. I
Yeah.
kept doing the energy healing. I kept seeing coaches. I kept keeping up with people, and I think those are the advice I want to give people is, whenever you hit the rock bottom, whenever you hit the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, because for me that was the worst possible scenario. Like
And
I
yeah.
thought when it
Like
happened and I was deep in my grief, I thought, this is it. This is everything that I feared the most, everything that I did not want is what was given to me. And through that I found this crazy inner strength and this
yeah.
crazy,
Right.
like, now nothing can touch me. Like if I can survive this, nothing can touch me, nothing can
Look at
hurt
that.
me, and nothing can scare me. I mean, still do, ego still comes sometimes, and it's still kind of like, but then I remind myself,
Right.
no, no, you've been
Like
through way worse.
look at what
Like
you
this is
yeah, look at what
nothing.
you've been through.
This
Right.
is nothing. I can just blow everything away. And it's given me this crazy like armor where I can just, like, I feel like I can just, nothing can touch me.
Mm.
So, but going
Like
through healing that was very difficult.
of
And
course I can imagine. Yeah.
yeah, but luckily there was a lot that actually was a catalyst for other things. And then I became more psychic, and I became now more of, I can channel, and it's just it's a whole new world. It actually opened, it was a door that opened into a whole new other realm, which is what my channel is about now. So anyway, but
Wow. Amazing.
what I really wanted to share with people is what you can do to go through it, and never think that you're alone, because there's so many of us out there that have been through all kinds of difficult
Right.
things that can help. um, and whatever you think you're going through is, nothing's too weird, nothing's too out there, nothing's too crazy, or, I mean, if you need to talk, like, talk to us in the group, or to whoever, or to this
Right.
channel
Yeah.
even.
It's they're
you
not
know
alone, man. Right.
Absolutely, you're never alone, and that's one of the realizations you get when you get through a lot of this stuff, is you realize you actually have this huge spirit team with you, and you have, on earth but also in the spirit realm, you're always surrounded. Even when you think
Always.
it's just you, it's never just you. There's always,
You
and
know,
then let spirit talk to you and talk you through it. Go ahead.
I think that's a very very strong point, Cindy, because we tend to forget that. When you're going through it, when you're in that dark moment, you feel alone, but you forget, like, you have a whole team with you, man.
Hmm.
Like, look at everything you've been through. Look at everything you made it out when you thought you didn't, when you thought you wouldn't. Like when you thought you didn't have what it took to get out of the situation. But as you said right now, everything was preparing you for what was coming. So you faced your fears, you faced the worst case scenario that you could imagine, and look how powerful it made you. Like,
Hmm.
I think that's so savage. Like, we forget that everything in this life is just happening, and it's preparing us for what we really want. Like, there's William Shakespeare. I love this quote. He says, "Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Like, if you really dwell and believe the situation is for the worst, that your life is done, that you have no future, your life is meaningless, then that's really what's going to become of your reality. But once you shift that perspective and you realize that, no, I've made it through worse times. I've learned and I grew so much from it. I know only good things can come out of this. And
Yes.
perspective is everything. I really do believe that, Cindy. Like we we tend to always allow the negative emotions and thoughts to control the situation. Like what's it called again? After you already felt the emotions, like you can't dwell in that. You can't stay stuck in there. You have to start fighting back. And everybody has a different. I believe everybody has a different healing time, right? You got to give yourself that time to heal. Some people it's 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months. Like it depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's giving yourself that time to heal and really forgiving yourself. That's something that, Cindy, like I feel like a lot of people have find so much difficulty in forgiving themselves for their past
Yes.
and just letting go. Like they keep rewinding, they keep living in the past, but it's not serving you. Like one thing is to remember all the times that you made it out, right? You made it out of those dark nights of the soul. But another thing is to keep dwelling on negative emotions that are just going to keep setting you back further, further, further.
Yeah, on those, that's a good point. The dwelling is definitely not serving anybody ever. It's like I said, it's important to embrace your pain. It's important to go through it, but then once you've done that, you have to let it go. Because if you keep going back and revisiting over and over and over, you're not letting yourself a way out, and you're just going back into that density. And it's not allowing you to move forward. And I know I'm actually very guilty of doing that, and I've done that so much in my journey. And I'm kind of the person, well, it's kind of how I was raised too, and that I was raised by parents who didn't take responsibility for anything. Like nothing was ever their fault, it was always like our fault. So for me, I was always like, everything's
Yeah,
my fault, right? So anything happens, and it was like,
what a
well, I must
privilege.
have done something wrong, like, and it was like, well, what can I do to remedy this? What can I do? And
Right.
I was always taking everything on my shoulders until I was told nothing was ever your fault. Like all of these things happened because they happened because of choices
Right.
that we made, but nothing was really like, it's like I took things way too hard. And like you said, I had to learn to forgive myself, and
Have to. Yeah.
you forgive the other people involved too, in
That
that,
too. Right.
they were also victims of their how they grew up, or victims of programming of society, of how society is made, and how society is made to make us behave a certain way and believe in certain, like we have belief systems that basically, I don't want to go too much into that, but that, belief systems that
No.
make you into like a
Right.
wheel in a cog, like that make you want to, or that's not even how it is, you know what I mean, like part of the machine. So, and that's what we're trying
Scary
to
but
break
true.
out of. And the dark night of the soul is a really good tool to do that, actually.
Yeah. It's pretty much by force at that point, man.
It is, and I don't believe that's actually the message of hope that I would like to believe in, or that I think is the thing that will happen with with the younger generations. Is I believe that dark night is actually going to become less of a thing, because as we've learned, what we've learned through this is how to teach other people how to deal better, and how to not
Yeah.
necessarily go that deep into it, and that being propelled into that pain, because that's the thing with contrast, is like once you're supposed to go towards the light, but you have a hard time doing that, you go into the darkness, and then the further you
Yeah.
resist the light, the more you go into the dark, which is
Exactly.
basically what's happening. So I
Focus
think
on expands.
you could tell people, just go towards the light,
I could.
just do it. I know it's going to hurt a little bit at first, but trust me, it's worth it, and it's not
It's
as bad as going further down. So, and I think with that, with those teachings and people being more aware and more conscious of what's going on, that they can actually traverse this a lot better, and heal a lot faster.
they really can. I mean, there's they really can, but it's just a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So there's a lot of information out there that can save so many people from suffering so much, but they're not aware of the information. They're not aware of the knowledge, and And that's why I feel like if you don't have mentors, you know how you said you were being coached by Victor,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel that's one of the secrets to life. Like if you can have a mentor to guide you when you can't guide yourself, or when you feel lost in those times, like there's so much power into that, because you almost rent their confidence for for some time while you're trying to build up yours. So I really feel like when like knowledge and the right knowledge, tools, finding tools to help you when you're going through that, like, you know what? No, this is not a bad thing. Um, Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And having a mentor like Victor, or just somebody you can relate to, somebody that has what you want, right? Whether it's spirituality, somebody that can somebody that you can really relate to, man. I feel like that can help you out so much and take you out of that dark place so much faster, just like you said.
Yeah, just understand you, and help you deal it in a way that makes sense to you. So this is why, you have to say that old saying is like, the teacher appears when the student is ready. It's basically
Love
it. Like
that.
when you open yourself to that, because I know for many years I wasn't open to it, but when I finally was, then I had a few teachers show up.
Crazy how that works,
So,
huh?
yeah, so which was great
Yeah,
because they were all good for different reasons, right? For different ways that I needed that help. And I think another thing about the Dark Night that just occurred to me while you were talking is
yeah,
is being able to identify the pain. I think is really key there, because like when you go face it, but then when you can identify what is causing your pain,
awareness.
then
Yeah,
you can heal it, and then you can get out of that
exactly,
space. So
exactly.
awesome. Yay. Do you have any ending thoughts for us?
I think, yeah, Cindy. Just one thing. Um, I think the biggest factor and advice that people can take out of this is, well, even with everything we said, just don't give up, man. Like you can't give up on yourself. You can't, like, don't lose against yourself, because at the end of the day, if you keep going, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get whatever you want. You're gonna get the growth. You're gonna find yourself. You're gonna find more of yourself. Just just never give up on yourself. How about you, Cindy?
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. Actually, I don't know if I have anything else because that was perfect. That was really good. Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome. But yeah, thanks for joining me. That was really good. I really
My
enjoyed
pleasure.
this. Yeah,
I,
I think it's a very important topic that a lot of people are still, very much going through, especially right now in this
right, yeah.
situation we're going through right now. I think a lot of people are being propelled into either a small dark night of the soul, at least, or a major one, or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people who are living in uncertainty at the moment and not really sure how things are going to look. I mean, hopefully things,
Yeah.
I don't want to say things are going to go back to normal, because there are so many subtle energies that have changed through this, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nothing is going to be normal, really. It's not
Nah,
going to be
man.
what it was before.
There'll be
I
a new norm.
Yes, I think the global consciousness, or the collective, whatever you want to call it, has shifted. It's changed. It's changed a lot of things in a lot of people's minds, and awareness is just what we wanted, what we
So
needed.
many, right? So many people, man.
Exactly. So, but having to for that shift to happen, there needs to be again, whenever you become more aware, sometimes it makes you aware of things you're uncomfortable with. So I really, wish everybody is dealing with what they have to deal as smoothly as possible as you can. Take care of yourself, sleep a lot. I know sleeping is like a really awesome
Oh my
remedy.
gosh, yes. Yes.
Right? Try to, I know it's hard to be joyful, but go into your pain, but also find the things that bring you joy. I think to hang on to those things is super important. Hang on to the people that
It
make you
is.
feel good. Try to do something about people that don't make you feel good. Either like put them in their place if you're living with them. I know because people are like confined to their homes right now, which may not be a great thing for everybody.
Very common
Um,
situations. Yeah.
yeah, set
Not
those boundaries, and yeah, exactly, and do what you have to do to go through it. Is I'm like losing my what I was saying
it's all good.
now. But yeah, anyway, so I hope this is helpful for a lot of people.
Oh, yep, I hope so too, man. And so they're not alone. You know, everybody's battling their own demons, man. But
Exactly.
but yeah, I mean, this is. I feel like a lot of people will relate to this, and hopefully this brought a lot of value to them, and it can help them in some way or another.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for collaborating with me.
Thank
This was
you,
a really
Cindy.
fun video. Teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yay. So I am Cindy from Mage's Moon. I do mostly, I've been trying to do a lot of tarot and oracle card readings on my channel. I also talk about random spirituality stuff. And again, what is going on with your channel?
I'm an up and coming influencer. Again, I call my brand knowledge to live by, but I'm going back and forth a lot, to be honest, with Rogelio Diaz and knowledge to live by. But I'm really just honestly, I really just want people to get the message. That's really, I just want to inspire the world to want more out of their life. And if they're going through times like these, like dark nights of the soul, and again they feel like life is meaningless or there's no point to it, I just want to help people get back up, you know, get up and start fighting again, man.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. So we'll catch you guys
All right,
later.
Cindy,
Hope you enjoyed.
take care, guys. Much love.
Bye.